She didn't care when you begged. She didn't flinch when you showed her love. But the moment you go silent, the moment you disappear from her life like she never existed, that's when the regret hits. And it hits hard. Here's why cutting her off completely is the only move you ever needed to make. You've tried everything: texting, calling, showing her you care. You stayed loyal. You were patient. And in the end, she still walked away like none of it mattered. But what if I told you that the most powerful way to flip the script is to do nothing at all? Today I'm going to show you exactly why going cold, cutting her off, and walking away without looking back makes her regret everything she lost. She didn't react when you opened up to her. She didn't flinch when you gave her everything she said she wanted. But when you go quiet, completely quiet, that's when everything starts to shift. That's when she starts to question herself. That's when she starts to feel something she didn't expect: regret. And not just any regret. The kind that creeps up late at night, when her phone stays dry, when your name doesn't pop up anymore, and she starts to wonder if she actually lost something that mattered. The most powerful move a man can make after being overlooked, disrespected, or replaced is silence. Not words, not arguments, not emotional outbursts, just straight, unapologetic silence. Cut off, gone, out of reach, out. This isn't about being cold or manipulative. It's about doing what most men are too afraid to do: walk away and not look back. Because here's the uncomfortable truth: women don't regret losing men who stick around. They regret losing the ones who vanish, the ones who don't beg, the ones who don't give her another chance to ignore them. And that's where your power is. Most guys stay emotionally available, even after the relationship ends. They linger, they check in, they hold on to hope. But that only gives her reassurance that if she ever gets bored, confused, or lonely, you'll still be there. And that's not attractive. That doesn't trigger regret. That triggers comfort. You become an emotional cushion, not a loss. The woman in your life will only begin to feel your absence when there's actually an absence. As long as you're still giving her attention in any form, likes, comments, quick replies, watching her stories, she knows you haven't really gone anywhere. And that means she can take her time, explore her options, and still keep you on the back burner, just in case things don't work out with someone else. You stay in her mental playlist as a song she might return to, but never one she's afraid to lose forever. Cutting her off completely removes that option. Now you're not just the guy who was there. You're the guy who disappeared without explanation. No closure, no drama, just gone. That hits different. Let's talk about what actually happens when you cut a woman off completely. At first, nothing. And that's where a lot of men give up too early. They expect her to panic immediately, to text, to call, to chase them down. But that's not how it works. Regret doesn't hit right away. It builds slowly. It starts with curiosity. She notices you haven't been around. She checks your socials. Nothing. She thinks about sending a text, but her pride stops her. Then another week goes by. You still haven't said a word. That's when the confusion sets in. She starts asking herself questions. Did he move on? Was he really that over it? Why isn't he checking on me like he used to? Those thoughts multiply in her head, because now the one thing she thought she had, your attention, is gone. And the moment you become a mystery again, that's when the attraction comes back. Because let's be honest, humans want what they can't have. And when a woman thought she had you wrapped around her finger, only to realize you've vanished without warning, it creates an emotional gap she didn't prepare for. She may not admit it out loud. She might act unbothered on the outside. But inside, that silence starts echoing. She starts remembering the good times, not the arguments, not the little things that annoyed her, just the moments where you made her feel seen, safe, understood. And now, all of that is gone, and you're not even trying to fix it. That's what messes with her mind. You want to know the real reason silence is so effective? Because it makes her sit with her own thoughts. When you're constantly talking to her, even after things go wrong, you're helping her avoid the consequences of her decisions. You're giving her the illusion that she didn't really lose anything, that you're still available, still waiting, still willing. But when you pull the plug, when you walk away without saying much, she doesn't have that safety net anymore. She's left with herself, and that silence forces her to confront everything she pushed aside. She has to ask, herself if she made the right call. And if there's any part of her that cared, any part, that regret will start to grow. What most men don't understand is that their words don't hold power after a woman loses interest. She doesn't care how you feel when she's pulling away. She doesn't care what your heart says when she's busy with someone else. She only starts to care when you stop caring, when you no longer need her to understand you, when your presence is no longer offered to her. That's when your absence becomes noticeable. That's when it starts burning, because for the first time, she's not in control anymore. You've taken the one thing she never expected you to take, your attention. And this is where most guys fail. They confuse being strong with being angry. They think cutting her off means yelling, sending her paragraphs, blocking her with attitude. That's not power. That's reaction. True power is quiet. You leave with dignity. You don't explain. You don't announce it. You just exit. No goodbye, no closure. Because here's the thing. Closure isn't for you, it's for her. And if she didn't give you the respect you deserved while she had you, she doesn't deserve the clarity you give her when you leave. The silence becomes your closure. The distance becomes your message. And trust me, she gets the message. When a woman realizes that you're no longer emotionally available, her brain starts doing all the work you used to do. She wonders where you went, what you're doing, who you're doing it with. The tables turn, and here's the kicker. If she never cared, your silence won't bother her. But if she did care even a little, your silence becomes loud. It becomes uncomfortable. It creates pressure. Because now she has to question herself. Was it really the right decision to let you go? Was the grass really greener? Or did she just lose something she didn't fully understand at the time? That kind of regret doesn't go away easily. It lingers. It resurfaces when she sees your name, but can't bring herself to message you. It hits when she sees someone else showing you love that used to be hers. It shows up when she's laying in bed at night, scrolling through memories, realizing you're no longer there to respond. That's the power of walking away and staying gone, not just physically, but emotionally. You detach, you stop explaining, you stop showing up, you stop proving your worth, and suddenly your absence does all the talking. At some point, she's going to try to test the waters. Maybe it's a subtle, like on your old post, maybe it's a story view, or even a random, "Hey, how have you been?" message out of nowhere. Don't take the bait. That's not real effort. That's her checking to see if you're still emotionally invested. She wants to know if the door is still cracked open. But if you respond, even politely, you confirm her suspicions, that you're still available, that she still has power. And just like that, all the mystery vanishes. She no longer feels the sting of your absence. She just got her control back. So if you want her to truly feel what it's like to lose you, you have to remain unresponsive, not rude, not dramatic, just distant, like she doesn't affect you anymore. That's the shift that hits hardest. Because when a woman feels like she can't affect you, she starts to lose her grip. And it's not because she wants to love you better. Sometimes it's because her ego took a hit. She expected you to stay accessible, to wait for her to come around. But when you don't, it messes with her. She starts comparing you to the guys who always chase her, the ones who fold easily, the ones who flutter DMs with "I miss you," and "You were the best thing in my life." And yet here you are, silent, focused, gone. That contrast makes you unforgettable. This is the point where some guys say, "But what if I still love her?" That's understandable, but loving someone doesn't mean you have to stay. Love doesn't mean sacrificing your self-respect. You can still care and walk away. You can still feel something and choose silence, because at the end of the day, love without mutual respect is pain. You don't need to prove your loyalty to someone who took it for granted. You don't need to keep showing up for someone who treated your presence like an option. She'll only value you when you stop giving her access. And no, that doesn't mean you become bitter. It means you become rare. Let her feel what it's like to miss you. Let her realize that your consistency wasn't something every man offers, that your presence was more than just attention. It was emotional security. And now that it's gone, she has to figure out if that new guy can give her the same thing. 9 times out of 10, he can't. Because he's new, he doesn't know her flaws yet. He's still in the honeymoon phase. He hasn't seen her unfiltered, the way you have. And that's when it starts to click for her. She remembers how patient you were, how much you listened, how deeply you understood her without her needing to say a word. But by that point, you've already evolved past needing her validation. You're not the same guy who chased her, and that's the best part. This isn't just about making her regret losing you. It's about transforming yourself into a version of you that you don't want to lose. Because let's be real, the man who needs a woman's attention to feel whole is not the man she'll respect, but the man who can detach, who can focus on his mission, who doesn't need her to feel complete. That's the man who becomes unforgettable. You have to stop making your self-worth dependent on whether she chooses you. Stop tying your value to her attention. She's just one person, one experience, one chapter. But you've got the whole book still being written. And the irony is, the more you let go, the more she remembers. The more you focus on yourself, the more she feels your energy shift. Even if you don't post a thing, people can sense when your attention is no longer theirs. That energy used to be focused on her. Now it's not. And she doesn't know where it went, but it bothers her. Because she used to feel chosen. Now she doesn't. She used to feel special. Now she's wondering if someone else has your focus. And that wondering, that is where the regret lives. It eats away at her, slowly, silently, because she doesn't know if she can get that feeling back. When she sees you out, doing better, laughing more, glowing differently, it will sting. Not because you're trying to show off, but because you've moved on without needing her to validate it. That quiet glow up hits harder than any revenge post ever could. It shows her that she wasn't the center of your world. She was just a part of your story. And if she let you go thinking you'd stay stuck, seeing you rise will shake her entire perspective. That's when she'll regret it. That's when the questions will come, but this time, they'll be in her head, not yours. Now here's something most men won't tell you. Regret doesn't always come with a second chance. Sometimes, she'll regret it and stay quiet. Her pride won't let her say anything. She'll just watch from a distance, wishing she had done things differently. And that's okay, because you don't need her to confess it. You don't need closure. The satisfaction isn't in getting her back. It's in knowing she finally sees your value, too late, and you didn't have to beg, chase, or convince her. You just had to leave. Cutting her off doesn't mean you hate her. It means you love yourself more than you love staying stuck. It means you'd rather lose her than keep losing yourself in someone who doesn't choose you fully. And that decision, that inner strength, that's what earns real respect. That's what makes her see you differently. You're no longer the emotional backup plan. You're the one that got away, not because you ran, but because she let you slip, and you didn't wait around to be picked up again. Most guys don't get how powerful this really is. They think if they walk away, they'll be forgotten, that she'll move on and never look back. But the truth is, you were never meant to be remembered by everyone, only the ones who mattered. And if she mattered to you, she'll feel it when you're gone. Maybe not today, maybe not next week, but one random day, something will remind her of you. A scent, a song, a familiar phrase, and for a moment she'll pause. She'll feel that ache, that hollow feeling that says, damn, he's really gone. And that's all you need, not because you're seeking revenge, but because you finally understand your worth. You don't need her regret to validate you. It's just the byproduct of walking away like a man who knows his value. By now, if you've truly gone silent, if you've really removed yourself from her reach, not just pretending to ignore her, but mentally and emotionally checked out, she's going to feel something she didn't expect: confusion. She'll start replaying old conversations in her head, wondering if she missed the signs. She'll ask herself why you haven't reached out. Did you meet someone else? Did you stop caring? She might even try to convince herself that she never really wanted anything serious with you in the first place, just to protect her own ego. But deep down, it's bothering her. Because in a world full of men who chase after rejection, your silence screams louder than anything you could say. That's the turning point. When you stop trying to be understood and just let your absence do the talking. That's when regret hits the hardest. When she realizes that she didn't just lose attention, she lost a man who actually cared, who actually tried. She remembers how patient you were when she was moody, how you gave her space when she needed it, how you supported her when she was insecure, and now she doesn't get that anymore. All the little things you did without expecting anything back, those start to echo in her mind. The way you used to check up on her, the way you made her feel safe without even saying much, that's gone now. And the sad truth, most women don't realize what they had until they're with someone who doesn't give them that same energy. She might move on to someone else quickly. It might even look like she's happier. But give it time. When the surface level excitement fades, she'll start comparing. Not out loud, but quietly in her thoughts. She'll compare how her new guy talks to her, how he handles conflict, how he treats her in public, how deep the connection really is. And more often than not, it won't match what she had with you. Because chemistry is easy, but depth is rare. And she let go of depth for something shallow. Now here's the key. Don't sit around hoping she regrets it. That's not the point. You don't cut someone off just to get them back. You do it because you've outgrown needing someone who couldn't see your value when they had full access to you. You don't want a woman who only respects you once she loses you. You want a woman who sees your worth when you're right in front of her. A woman who doesn't need a wake-up call to appreciate consistency, loyalty, and emotional maturity. And if she needed to lose you to feel something, she was never ready for you in the first place. Most men get stuck because they confuse attention with affection. Just because she misses you doesn't mean she's ready to give you what you deserve. Sometimes, regret is just her way of trying to feel better about letting go of someone she knows she'll never replace. It's not always a sign to reconnect. It's a sign that you were real in a world full of surface-level people. And that's what really hurts her, the realization that she had something good, and she blew it. Not because you weren't enough, but because she wasn't prepared to match that kind of energy. And that's what sets you apart. You didn't beg. You didn't explode. You didn't throw insults or act desperate. You just vanished. You let her feel your absence. You gave her the gift of space, something most people don't know how to deal with when they realize it's permanent. And when she tries to come back, not out of love, but out of fear of missing out, you'll recognize it. You won't be fooled, because by that time, you'll be so focused on your own growth, her return won't even tempt you the same way it once did. The power in cutting her off isn't just about silence. It's about what you do with that silence. You don't sit there scrolling through her socials, wondering what she's doing. You use that time to build yourself. You go to the gym not to get her attention, but because it sharpens your mind. You chase your goals not to prove something to her, but because you finally see your own potential. You become so committed to your future that the past feels irrelevant. You stop chasing closure and start chasing clarity. That's when the tables really turn. Because now, if she comes back, it's not a win for her. It's a test for you. Do you accept the person who walked away when things were uncertain? Or do you make room for someone who chooses you, consistently, without having to lose you first? That's your decision. That's your power. You're not the same man she let go. You're a different version of yourself, one who doesn't negotiate respect, one who doesn't chase lukewarm affection. You're not her fallback plan. You're the one who got serious about his life while she was busy playing games. And here's the twist. The moment you stop caring whether she regrets it or not is when she regrets it the most. Because now it's not about punishment or revenge. It's just truth. She sees you thriving. She sees you focused. She sees you unbothered. And that kills her more than any harsh words ever could. Your peace, your progress, your glow. It all becomes a mirror that reflects what she lost. And the worst part, she knows she can't get it back. Not the way it was. Because the old version of you, the one who would have done anything for her, he's gone. Gone because he realized he deserved more than someone who couldn't appreciate him. Gone because he finally saw his own value without needing her to validate it. Gone because he stopped making excuses for disrespect and chose distance over dysfunction. That's the kind of man a woman regrets losing. Not the one who begs, not the one who waits, but the one who walks away with grace and never looks back. And trust me, she feels that. Even if she never admits it, even if she pretends to be fine, that regret stays with her. So if you're in that place right now, wondering if walking away was the right move, let me tell you, it was. Every second you invest in yourself, every boundary you keep, every message you don't respond to, that's you reclaiming your power. That's you stepping into the man you were always supposed to be. Not bitter, not broken, just better. And that version of you, that's the one she'll think about at night. That's the one she'll tell her friends about, wondering why she ever let you go. She'll regret it not because you forced her to, but because you gave her the space to see what life looks like without you. And when she does, don't go back. Don't shrink yourself to fit back into her life. Let her sit with that loss. Let her feel what it's like to want something she can't have anymore. That's the real power of cutting someone off completely. Not to hurt them, but to heal yourself so deeply that their regret becomes background noise. Now here's where it all comes together. You didn't just cut her off to play mind games. You cut her off because your peace became more important than her presence. And when you finally reach that point where you don't need to explain yourself, where you don't need her validation, that's when you realize you've outgrown the entire situation. You stop seeing it as a painful loss and start seeing it as a necessary turning point. She was just the lesson, not the destination. And once you accept that, everything becomes clear. That version of you who would overthink every text, who would analyze her tone, who would lose sleep trying to figure out what went wrong, that guy is gone. Now you understand something deeper. If someone genuinely values you, they won't make you feel confused. They won't push you away just to see if you'll chase. They won't need to lose you to appreciate you. Real love doesn't play games. And once you've cut off someone who took you for granted, you become a man who doesn't tolerate low-effort energy anymore. But here's what most people won't tell you. Sometimes, cutting her off completely isn't loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's as simple as not responding, not explaining, not defending yourself. It's blocking her number not to be petty, but to protect your focus. It's deleting the old photos not because you hate her, but because you've accepted that chapter is closed. It's seeing her in public and walking right past her, not out of spite, but because she's no longer the center of your universe. That's the real strength. Not proving something, but moving on quietly with your life. She's going to notice. Maybe not right away, but she will. She'll feel the shift. She'll sense that something's different about you. And it won't be your haircut or your clothes. It'll be your energy. You'll walk differently, talk differently, move differently. Because there's something powerful about a man who knows his worth. Something magnetic about a man who doesn't chase. A man who doesn't argue for a place in anyone's life. That kind of energy is rare, and it's unforgettable. And when you operate from that place, women notice. They feel it. It's in your eyes, in the way you don't flinch when someone pulls away, in the way you're calm in the face of uncertainty. And the woman who lost you, she'll see it too. She'll wonder how you became so confident, how you stopped caring, how you moved on when she thought you'd always be there. And that's when the regret kicks in full force, because now the man she took for granted doesn't exist anymore. And the version of you that replaced him, he doesn't need her. He doesn't even think about her. He's too busy living. That's when she might reach out. Maybe she sends a message. Maybe she watches your story. Maybe she randomly likes something from months ago. Don't take the bait. If she wanted to treat you right, she had her chance. You gave her time. You gave her effort. You gave her emotional security. And she didn't value it. Now she doesn't get access to the upgraded version of you. That's the consequence. Not because you're playing games, but because you've set a new standard. And once a man raises his standards, he never lowers them again. And if she actually regrets it deeply, she'll realize something even heavier. She can't reverse what's been done. Because sometimes closure isn't a conversation. It's watching someone become everything you wanted, but with someone else. That's what happens when you walk away clean. You don't need revenge. You don't need to flex. Your growth is enough. Your progress is proof. And that's the kind of closure she'll have to live with. You start focusing on you, your health, your money, your goals. You become more disciplined, more self-aware. You don't sit around complaining about what she did. You use it as fuel. And ironically, the more you build yourself, the more attractive you become. Not just to her, but to everyone around you. But this time, you're not entertaining just anyone. You're selective. You're not looking for attention. You're looking for alignment.
And that shift, that's how you win. Because here's the reality. When you cut her off and mean it, when you stop responding, when you stop making space for her in your thoughts, when you no longer hope she'll reach out, that's when the universe starts opening new doors. You meet new women. You build deeper friendships. You attract better energy. And most importantly, you start liking yourself again. That's the real revenge. Not making her jealous, but becoming so proud of who you are that you never even look back.
So what happens now? She lives with that regret. She watches your life from a distance. She remembers how you made her feel, how you were there when it mattered, how you didn't give up when things got tough. And she knows, deep down, that she threw away something good. Not because you were too much, but because she wasn't ready for something real. And now it's too late. That's the kind of regret that sticks with someone. Quiet, long-term, heavy. And you? You keep rising, keep building, keep choosing yourself. Because the moment you chose peace over chaos, growth over ego, and self-respect over temporary attention, that's when you truly won. That's when the tables turned. And now, there's no going back. Not because you're angry, not because you're hurt, but because the best version of you doesn't wait around to be seen. He's too busy being undeniable. Watch the next video.